Welcome back to Camp Acapella Live. Deke Sharon here with another Too Many Notes for you. But before we go any further, I want to see if you actually know what that reference is of. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say too many notes? Have you seen the... Actually, let's just show you. Roll the clip.
Well, Herr Mozart, a good effort. Oh, well, decidedly that. An excellent effort. You have shown us something quite new tonight.
It is new. It is, isn't it, sire?
Yes, indeed.
So, then you liked it. You really liked it, sire.
Well, of course I did. It's very good. Of course, now and then, just now and then, it seemed a touch,
What do you mean, sire?
well, I mean, occasionally it seems to have, how should one say? How shall one say directly?
Too many notes, Your Majesty.
Exactly. Very well put. Too many notes.
I don't understand. There are just as many notes, Majesty, as are required, neither more nor less.
Well, my dear fellow, there are, in fact, only so many notes the ear can hear in the course of an evening. I think I'm right in saying that, aren't I, court composer?
Yes. Yes. On the whole, yes, Majesty.
This is absurd.
My dear young man, don't take it too hard. Your work is ingenious. It's quality work. And there are simply too many notes. That's all. Just cut a few and it'll be perfect.
Which few did you have in mind, Majesty?
And there it is. That's why I chose too many notes. It's kind of a double entendre, like I'm giving too many notes about what you can do in a cappella, but also it refers to this movie, Amadeus Mozart. Frankly, none of that stuff happened. The movie's fictional. It's more about the concept of artistry versus, anyway, that wasn't actually Mozart's life. None of that stuff probably ever happened, but the playwright was making a point, so we're gonna go with it. Anyway, for this particular episode, I'm not gonna give you a list of things for you to do. I'm just gonna give you one kind of general broad concept to work with on the specific topic of sounding like an instrument. Now, there are people all the time who ask me, how do I develop my own instrumental sounds? How do I learn how to make all these different sounds? And the bottom line is, there's no one right way. I mean, there's no school for this. Those of us who have figured out some different instrumental sounds have learned by hearing other people doing it or just kind of messing around and trying to make it work. Like it's kind of the way music was before there was music notation. It's just a bunch of people kind of flailing around with their voices and trying to make something sound. So the thing is, the key to making a good instrumental sound work is that it doesn't sound like language. And what do I mean by that? Well, let me give you an example. If I sing to you, happy birthday to you, you're hearing that as language as well as music. So it's getting processed in your brain in the linguistic center as well as the music center. I don't know that language is here in music because I don't actually know where the centers are. I need one of those phrenologist globes with all the map thing. I mean, that's all hokey science, but still it's kind of cool, like, oh, this is where personality lives. Anyway, the bottom line is that you're hearing that as a human voice because the human voice is music plus language. But if I go, then you're not hearing any words in that. You're just hearing sounds and your brain goes, what is that sound? And especially if you do this little trumpet thing, which by the way bugs people who actually play trumpet because I don't do the right fingerings and it makes them kind of crazy and I love that. Anyway, if you move your hands and you kind of phrase it the way that an instrument does, people end up kind of shuffling through their brain and they go, it's not a human, it's not a cat, it's not a refrigerator, trumpet, that's what it is. And they categorize it as trumpet. And even if you don't sound exactly like a trumpet, it's closer to a trumpet than anything else. So why am I making this point? Because this is the tool that you need to use when you're creating your own instrumental sounds. The key is to stay away from language. So for instance, if you're doing a bass sound, and please forgive me because I'm not a bass, I'm a tenor, so I have a little bit of bass envy when I do this kind of thing, just letting you know. If you're gonna do a bass sound, if you go, thumb, 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 thumb. It sounds like the word thumb, right? But if you get rid of the vowel in the middle of it and you sing thum, 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 they're both vocal sounds, There's nothing characteristically hugely different about them, but the fact that one of them isn't a word in English means that people will not as readily associate it as being vocal music, and it'll sound much more instrumental to them. And that's what's happening when doing all these other weird vocal sounds. When I'm going like a muted trumpet or like a flute, I don't sound exactly like those instruments. I just sound more like them than anything else. But if I'm singing a flute and I go two, two, two is a word. Two doesn't work as well. Even it just sounds too much like I'm speaking or trying to sing a word in a language. So by changing the way you use your voice and phrasing in a way that doesn't have a really clear consonant vowel form, you're able to trick people's minds into making things happen. So there are a lot of sounds out there that I've heard people do that I don't do myself, like a good saxophone and clarinet, and there are a whole bunch of other sounds that have yet to be discovered that you could do and figure out, and the best way to do that is to try to not sound like a person by not making very vocal sounds. Now, little post-log on this. This gets really complicated when you then come up with a sound and then you don't know how to put it in an arrangement that you're doing, so you end up using all kind of weird syllable combinations. Like I've used ZHM for zhm, but people are like, is it zm or zoom or zim? So then it's sometimes good to make a little audio recording on your phone, or you can make a little video singing the part and send it to them. But either way, don't spell it out like it's a word. Don't spell the word zoom or anything that seems linguistic, because then people's brains are going to reverse engineer it, and they're never really going to sing the sound that you're intending. They're going to cheat it towards the word, and then that's going to make it sound human, not instrumental. Make sense? Anyway, if you have any thoughts about this, please post below, because this is a brave new world of vocal instrumental sounds that we've entered, and there's a lot of pioneering is still being done. And also, if you have any sound tutorials for any instrumental videos that you've put up, please post them below as well. We want to share. We want to let the world know about different sounds that people have figured out, so that we can all become better vocal instrumentalists. Anyway, I hope this has been super helpful for you, and you can post questions below as well if you like, and we'll see you next time on Too Many Notes.